quite funny because his mum was an academic. I'm the muso, so he's kind of going, no, I don't want to do either of them. I'm going to be the sport. And he become a mad sportsman, so he knows.
Oh, where's that going to,
No, but it's up to the kids.
What about the Ashmore Tavern, son? You could bloody...
The kids to decide where they want to go,
As I said to Sean years ago...
would have loved to have been another drummer, but, nah.
Well, as I said to him, you picked a very difficult industry, a business to throw away, and that's professional sport as a basketball player, because there's not a lot of money in that in Australia. But you've picked an even harder one to make money out of. What the hell are you doing?
How'd you get to Pete? How'd you get to the Gold Coast? Why?
Oh right, yeah, we're going back half an hour ago.
Well, it interests me because you've come from like a golden,
Yeah, Sydney. I was brought up, so most of my early work in Sydney. I was working with Cole Joy actually at the time. Doing a few cabaret sort of things, and also working with his young nephew in the studio. We're doing a lot of studio sessions, and that was really good. We had a band called Sons of Millionaires that we backed a lot of the overseas artists that company at ATA Studios used to bring in, the Kevin Jacobson organisation. It was kind of doing a bit of both there. Now, funny enough, and I will say this because we're not on commercial air, but the fact in the studio is that you see other drummers coming in and getting work in the studio when they were bringing in a bag of Coke and they get more work, all right? And I refuse to go on. And people say, well, just take some Coke and blow the engineers out and whatever, and you'll get more work. I said, no, I don't want to play that game. And I started to see, the inequities of what was happening down there. Of course, today there's a lot of different drugs and different problems, arising. Now, I thought, well, I can either go to Melbourne or come up to the Gold Coast. Now, I would have so much fun coming through the Gold Coast with bands. I thought, what a great place to be. Lots of entertainment up here at the time. There's 10 good-sized venues up here. So I moved up here, and in that space of a year and a half to 2 years since I come up here, 3 drummers died in Sydney, that I kind of knew, that were, on the scene from various reasons. They died and won't go into it. And I thought, thank God, it's just, the Sydney scene was cruel to me.
Right.
Plus, not only that, down there, it's lots of small circles. It's hard to break out of those circles and do diversified music. Whereas I come to the Gold Coast and it's like one big circle. So I got to play a variety of stuff up here,
Yeah.
So I moved up here. The first gig I got was Blues Brothers Revival that just lost their drummer before they got to the Gold Coast. Did that for 6 months.
Yep.
Joined a local band called
obviously a big name band.
Metallica.
Yeah. I won't go there.
Oh, you've been in so many, mate, doesn't it?
Yeah, just joined the local band. They are now the actual Fleetwood Mac show that I get around. Half of them, those members, still going.
Yeah.
And halfway through a tour with them, I just happened to be in a studio just hanging around, and Phil Emanuel was rehearsing in there, and they were using Tommy Emanuel on drums. That was a band called Kakadu. And Tommy had just got the gig with Dragon to play guitar with Dragon. Right. So I just happened to be there, and Phil goes, because he knew me from Sydney, he said, you play drums, Pete, come and have a play with us, and all right, go and have a play with them. Right, you're joining the band. I went, no, I'm already with the band. No, you're joining our band. So I went and did that for another 18 months, which was great value, really playing with Phil.
Yeah.
And Ray Young from Bullamakanka, who's no longer with us, he was a singer, and Chris Haig, great bass player who played with Vanetta Fields and, Marsha Hines and lots of great people in the early days. So that was a really good fun band to play with.
I've actually been pretty lucky in my band. I've always said the bands I've ever been in. I feel like the drummers have always been great. When you get into a band, it could be a bass. For you, it would be a bass player.
Mate, I've always played with great guitarists.
Okay.
Like Bobby Spencer, Phil Emanuel, and I've been blessed really in that side of things. To always, have some great guitarists to play with.
Right.
So I'm a little bit spoiled in that respect as well. So after Phil, I've done a variety of things on the coast, when my son was born, I was playing in Twin Town Services Club for about 3 years. So I was doing a lot of the artists upstairs, the overseas or national artists that come through, and we were the backing band and playing with the house band downstairs as well, which is perfect because actually I spent all my days watching my son grow up, from being on tour all my life until that stage. Oh, look,
Critical.
I could never, exchange those days for quids. Beautiful. So, yeah, sort of things. So in my life have worked out really well for me,
Great.
because of that respect. And then, lots of other things have fallen into place. But I can only say, look, one thing at the end of it all, with the young ones, you've got to learn your craft. You've got to know your craft, because if you want to keep playing when you're my age, you've got to know your stuff when you're young. You got to go and learn it, because then you will still be playing and still be earning money from it when you get to my age.
Yeah, fully agree.
And not a lot of players out there. A lot of players give up at 30, go and get a real job because they got wives and kids, and go and get a real job, and they do, and they play part time. I've always made my living from playing music, so I'm probably one of the luckier ones, you might say.
Well, yeah,
Mate. When I was 18, I was in a band. We did great stuff, but we rehearsed almost every night. And when that was just great fun back then. But now I'm in this cheeseball cover band, as I always say. It taught me rhythm, like what it did for what you're saying. Is you always play like as young as you can. Even then you can pick it up later, and you've already got that rhythm in you, and you know what it's supposed to be.
Nothing like playing in a cover band to learn how the big boys do it.
I was about to say that.
You learn so much from that.
The game in it for me is to imitate. Like the game in it is to actually try and make it sound like the record. It's not like to try and do my own version.
Yeah, well, that's where cover bands. People not cover bands, but I mean, as a form of entertainment, if they weren't popular, they wouldn't exist. And a good cover band, and there's a few of them around. Let's face it, a lot of tribute bands these days as well. I mean, I sort of have a personal problem with it because I personally like organic, new, original music. But for someone to do a good cover of a song, which took a lot of time to put together in the first place, is not easy, is it?
Especially when you got to do 3 hours of it.
Yeah, exactly. And different varieties of songs.
I played with this brilliant bass player years ago. He's 19 years old. He's absolutely enormous bass player. But he's so all over the place. He's so skilled in music. He's so all over the place. We said, go and join a cover band to learn how to play. Right. And then he did. He did a couple of cover things, and now
because he's copying some of the greats.
Yeah, exactly.
To learn how to calm down a bit and get out of that musician sort of idea and become...
For want of a better one, you could do a Red Hot Chili Pepper song. Everyone knows Flea can do everything on bass guitar. But when you're actually learning a song, he actually chills out for some songs. Like there's some just...
that's right.
Yeah, as they say, as a music lover, not a player...
What's up, Drew? You're running out of time.
I'm stressing,
mate.
actually. This thing's about to die. So put it there, boys.
Okay.
We've already been here an hour and 15.
We've been told to shut up.
I hope we said it all.
Okay,
well, you know what?
Thanks, Drew. Thanks, mate.
We'll have to shut this off straight away, but thanks for coming in. Let's not make this the only one. I reckon we do this in a couple of months.
Oh, look, I didn't even get out of me old rock and roll stories.
We didn't talk about old women.
I've got some ditties here. So crazy
That's
stories.
what I wanted to hear.
Crazy stories, mate.
I'll be back, mate, if you want me back. Hey, I'll certainly be here.
Please.
You just tell me when, okay?
Yeah, Cal can bring some other artists in for you.
No,
I'll bring a few other people along. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay, mate.
You know, I want that.
It's a promise.
I'll never stop doing these, as you know. This is your episode 102.
Ooh.
Wow.
And
isn't that cool?
all right, so thanks for being here.
Cheers, bro.
Thanks, man. Blue album, which is...
And we're back.
Are we back?
Yeah, we are. You put them on if you want.
Yeah,
We're just going to run Raw, are you?
Look, I just really
Rock
wanted
and roller.
to... Raw? I've run around the Raw before. No, I just really wanted to mention the fact that Cole Finley, this country artist that I'm playing with, released this album called Above the Blue. And all the proceeds are going to helping combat depression. Now, this is a sad fact that I've looked up some of the statistics. There's 26% of under 24-year-olds in Australia that have had a mental health disorder in the last 12 months. It's a little known disease, this depression. you know. As I say, he's got the title track on the album. People like Kevin Borich on the album, Luke O'Shea. There's heaps of really top artists that are on this album. And as I say, all the proceeds are going to the cause of depression, helping set up communities.
It's not Beyond Blue, is it?
It's Above the
organisation?
Blue. It's called Above the Blue.
Okay.
Right, the album. Okay. Because I've only just picked up with Cole Finley just before Christmas there. And I said to Cole, I said, look, I've got my own band now to promote. I'm trying to get work and do all that sort of stuff. He said, well, maybe we can work in with each other. If I can't do a gig with him at any time, he has other players that he can use. But I'm kind of, he said, no, well, you're joining our band now. And I'm going, well, hang on.
Right.
But, he's a lovely dude to play with and some great players in his band. The guitarist is... he's played with John Williamson and, all the great country artists, He's a lovely country player. And plus,
what does it mean for you, though, to do a country? Is it a lot of swing?
No, it's country rock. So,
okay.
I, can get a pretty good handle on it. Before Mission Blues, as we talked about before, I was with a band called Bo Jenkins Road Train. Now, he's from Arkansas, so it was a great education on learning Southern rock. And he's kind of a real crossover blues, rock, country kind of stuff, and got the real southern twang and how you all doing and all that sort of stuff. He's unfortunately his business side of things didn't pan out because we go around in circles doing the same gigs for the same money year after year. And I like to be with people who are progressive and and moving forward in this industry. What else were we talking about there before too? Oh,
AC/DC.
That story about taking Cole up to a long way to the top show.
Yeah.
And anyhow, so we got free.
Which is obviously an AC/DC show, is it right?
No. That was all the old artists that made it through the 70s and 80s, like Baby Animals. Who else was on it? And Doug Parkinson was on it. Ian Moss was on it. Noiseworks was on it.
Like full bands.
Yeah.
Wow.
All these resurrected bands, right?
Oh,
and they do it once every 10 years,
Yep.
right? So I took Cal up, and he's this is great, get to see all these bands. And I thought, well, let's go and crash talking about crashing, let's go and crash the after party. So we found out where it was, and we're the only two people that got into the after party that weren't part of the show. Because as soon as I said, just follow me and you just walk straight through the bouncers, right? And, g'day, Cole. Cole Joy was the MC there, because I knew him for years ago. G'day, Cole. Oh, how you going, Pete? So we rocked straight in. And Cal was kind of gobsmacked because here's all these stars that he'd seen,
Yes.
So Cal got to talk to them all as well.
Well, I was just saying before as well, while we had a break, that through a flatmate of mine back in my King's Cross days, he was a cousin of Cole Joy's. And just out of the blue one day, I got invited along on, it was Boxing Day actually. I spent the day at Cole Joy's house with Kevin Jacobson and a few others and playing cricket on the back lawn and whatever. And next day I got invited down to Bateman's Bay where they had a holiday home. And I spent a couple of hours sitting on the beach next to Kevin Jacobson, him and I discussing music ideas. I had this idea, in fact, back in those days of actually... putting a compilation album together because I was so fascinated by the quality of Australian music and how the tall poppy syndrome was not allowing it to be recognised. American stuff and English stuff was always better, even though I'm talking Cold Chisel and all those bands in those days. And I said to Kevin, why don't we put together a compilation album so we can go and sell it in the States and present Australia to the States, because a lot of Australian bands had tried, Cold Chisel included, to make it over there and hadn't made it. And he said, yeah, good idea, Cal. And lo and behold, just through one of his other companies, a year or so later, there was one of those exactly. So, I wish I'd signed something in the sand at least.
we just had...
do you remember what it was called?
No, I don't. But he was telling me that day that he was actually, back in the days when they were... because they still, to this day, or apparently, after Robert Stigwood took over, but they actually still have the rights to the Bee Gees. Okay?
The Jacobsons.
They never ever lost that. Kevin Jacobson Enterprises and so on, and Cole Joy, his brother. And they were crossing the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, and because it's a concrete